Good afternoon, everybody. Chris Allen here with your weather blast for this Monday, May 23rd. Decided to do the blast outside today since it is kind of a nice day so far, even though the winds are picking up after some morning thunderstorms. The air mass is trying to recover, and by that, I mean we've got enough available moisture around. All we need now is a trigger to set off more showers and thunderstorms for the afternoon and evening. Some of those could be strong to severe. Right now, things, though, are pretty quiet. As you look over the horizon there, you're seeing up in the sky, nice blue sky. Now, this is about 2 o'clock in the afternoon as we're looking off to the west and northwest, seeing some high, thin cirrus clouds. Not really anything building up that much. But as we get on into the afternoon, especially from our west, we'll be watching for new developing thunderstorms as a complex moves out of Missouri and Arkansas and moves this way. In the meantime, we have mesonet temperatures in the 80s, mid-80s at that, and then you throw in the dew points in the 60s, near 70. Well, it feels rather muggy. If it weren't for the breezes that are out here, about 10 to 15, even 20 miles an hour, it would feel a lot stickier than it does. But there's a lot of available moisture here at the lower levels. All we need, as I mentioned, a trigger or something to fire things up, and I think those will be outflow boundaries that are set off by those thunderstorms out west of us right now. As a matter of fact, here's the surface map. Low is centered over Oklahoma, and a cold front that is going to be the firing mechanism for the folks out in the plains. Unfortunately, again today, some of the same places being hit, like Joplin, Missouri, which was devastated yesterday by a killer tornado. They're getting hit. In fact, they were hit again this morning with some of the strong thunderstorms, a big complex, and that's the complex we're watching now. You see those watch boxes out west of us. That is where the firing line is right now, but those storms can throw what we call outflow boundaries our direction, and a little bit later on, I think those outflow boundaries will lift the available moisture here, and with the heat, surface heating, I think we could see more thunderstorms firing up this afternoon, this evening, and even a chance of that overnight tonight. We'll have to watch that. Now, here is the day one outlook. This is the today severe weather outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. Of course, moderate risk of severe storms again in that same area that has been plagued, like Joplin, Missouri, southeastern Kansas, central Oklahoma, and then even on up another area, northwest Ohio, central Indiana, and eastern Illinois, where we could be looking at some wind damage potential there. Maybe not as high a threat of tornadoes, but certainly wind damage and large hail is a possibility in those areas. Then you see the slight risk area, which includes all of Kentucky, plus the Ohio Valley, stretching all the way up to the eastern seaboard, the middle Mississippi Valley, and into the Great Lakes, a big area that yellow there, indicating a slight risk of severe storms. Now, tomorrow, we're going to have to watch once again for more developing severe weather. Moderate risk for central and eastern Kansas, central and eastern Oklahoma, western Missouri, again Joplin, Springfield, Branson, all in that moderate risk once again, North Texas. Then a slight risk includes all of Kentucky yet again, and this just keeps repeating over and over and over again, even into Wednesday. Here is the day 3 outlook. Slight risk, much of Kentucky, the Ohio River Valley, Tennessee, Mississippi River Valleys, all under a slight risk again. Now, one word about tomorrow's moderate risk. There is some talk that it could be upgraded to a high risk. That may happen later today or early tomorrow morning. The SPC looking at that right now. So the risks are high, or elevated, I should say, over the next few days. Even here in Kentucky, even though we're under a slight risk, doesn't mean that we need to stand down or just ignore it. A lot of folks do that, and they think, well, they put those things out all the time. Really, this is something you need to pay attention to, because just when you let your guard down is the moment that things go bad. So please take heed and pay attention to that. That's why we do our Storm Condition Index, and we're giving a StormCon Index of a 3 out of a possible 10 for today for all of south central Kentucky, really all of Kentucky, you could say, with the main threats. If any thunderstorms develop this afternoon and do become severe, there's a 3 in 10 chance that any of those storms could produce damaging winds, which we've seen over the weekend, torrential rains, which we've seen over the weekend, large hail. There were some reports of that yesterday and Saturday, and we can't rule out the possibility of an isolated tornado. With any severe weather, isolated tornadoes are always a possibility. Now, I know you're asking, is it going to be like the tornadoes that hit Joplin, Missouri? I don't think so. We don't have that kind of a setup here, but there may be enough set up to where some of these thunderstorms could rotate and maybe cause a weak tornado. That's what we're looking at right now. So I have to include that in there in the StormCon list of those possible impacts, simply because when you get a severe thunderstorm, with little warning, they can produce tornadoes. But we're not looking at monster mile-wide tornadoes, at least not today, not this afternoon, this evening here in southern Kentucky. Now, let's go to the extended forecast here, the 7-day outlook, and it will show you that this is not going to change much. Daily chances of showers and thunderstorms, mainly during the afternoon and evening, but we could have these complexes like this morning that hold together from overnight west of us and then move into Kentucky during the early morning hours. That could happen again tomorrow morning. So we may have there's always a little bit of a severe weather risk even with those big complexes that move through the area. Mostly they're just heavy rain producers, gusty wind producers, but some of them have embedded stronger to severe storms. So you need to keep that in mind as we go through the next few days, at least until, say, Thursday, until we do look at that front finally coming through the area. That's when things will cool down a little bit for the weekend, with highs getting back to the 70s where they should be this time of the year. Okay, that's the way it looks right now. Shane will have an update on everything tonight at 5, 6, and 10. Also be aware that early in the morning, as I mentioned, we could have more severe weather like we did this morning. That means keep your weather radio turned on. Have 2 or 3 different ways to monitor the weather. Just because we're not looking for tornadoes like hit Joplin, Missouri, this severe weather threat's not over with by any stretch. And between now and Thursday, something that powerful, something that big could possibly come near us or even be in our area. I'm not saying it's going to, but I'm saying you need to at least have the common sense to know that those things can happen anywhere. Just because it hasn't happened in Kentucky doesn't mean it's not going to happen. A lot of folks get complacent and say that's happening somewhere else. That's going to affect. It never happens around here. Never say never for any reason. And that's why I'm trying to get you guys prepared. Hopefully these Weather Blast videos do that. We'll be watching the skies here this afternoon, this evening, to see what develops here in southern Kentucky. In the meantime, thank you for watching the Weather Blast for this Monday afternoon. I'll have a fresh podcast for you tomorrow morning at 4:30, weather shouts at any time, and of course, weather bulletins as needed anytime online and live to WBKO and WBKO.com. Know the weather before it knows you. My goodness, that line is never more true than right now. God bless. Thanks for watching.